Good day, everyone. Today, I am going to talk about George Kelly's personal construct theory. This is a fascinating way of understanding personality, focusing on how we interpret, predict, and make sense of the world around us. Before we start to the exciting part, let me introduce myself. I am Snarky Giwan, and I'll be discussing the personal construct theory, biography of George Kelly, Kelly's philosophical position, which is the person as scientist, scientist as person, constructive alternativism, and the personal construct, the basic postulate, and the 11 supporting corollaries. So let's dive to the overview of personal construct theory. George Kelly's personal construct theory is a unique approach to personality often described as meta theory about theories. So, Kelly's theory is often called a meta theory, a theory about theories. What does that mean? Instead of just describing personality like other psychologists did, Kelly focused on how we create our own interpretations of reality. So, ayon kay George Kelly, lahat daw tayo ay may kanya-kanyang paraan ng pag-intindi sa mundo. Ang tingin natin sa mga tao, bagay at pangyayari ay nakabase sa ating personal constructs. Ito ang mga mental na pananaw o categories na ginagamit natin para unawain ang ating mga karanasan. It suggests that people interpret and anticipate events based on their own personal constructs, which are meanings they assign to experiences. So basically, we don't just passively experience life. We are constantly making sense of what happens around us by forming mental templates, which he called personal constructs. These constructs help us predict what might happen next based on what past experiences. So, isipin niyo to, para tayong lahat may kanya-kanyang salamin na ginagamit para tignan ang mundo. So, yung salamin na yon o personal construct natin ay iba-iba, depende sa experiences natin. For example, if you ever had a strict teacher before, you might expect all strict looking teachers to act the same way, even if they don't. Your personal construct about strict teachers affect how you see them. So, this construct shape behavior and evolve over time as individuals reinterpret their world. So, our interpretation shape our behavior, and as we experience new things, these interpretations can change over time. Let's proceed to George Kelly's biography. So, George Kelly, 1905 to 1967, had a very unconventional path to psychology. Unlike other famous psychologists who focused on psychology from the start, well, Kelly was all over the place. He studied physics, mathematics, sociology, and even aeronautical engineering before finally getting a PhD in psychology in 1931. Kelly became a psychotherapist, developing personal construct theory, which emphasized how individuals interpret and reconstruct their experiences. So, si George Kelly ay isang psychologist na may kakaibang background. Hindi siya kaagad pumasok sa psychology, which is, ayun nga, nag-aral muna siya ng physics, math, sociology, and etc. Dahil dito, is iba ang approach niya and mas scientific. Si George Kelly ay hindi siya naniniwala na ang behavior natin ay fixed o kaya'y resulta lang ng environment natin. Para sa kanya, tayo mismo ang gumagawa ng kahulugan sa ating buhay. Kelly's philosophical position. George Kelly believed that human behavior is shaped by both reality and individual perception. He rejected the idea that behavior is solely determined by the environment, as well as the notion that only perception defines reality. Instead, he argued that while the universe is real, people interpret it in unique ways through personal construct, their frameworks for understanding experiences. As Kelly had a unique view of reality, he did not fully agree with behaviorists who believe the environment controls everything, or humanists who focus only on personal experience. Instead, he argued reality exists, but we each interpret it differently. We see the world through personal constructs, mental filters shaped by our past experiences. These constructs are not fixed, they can change when we encounter new experiences. Kelly's personal construct theory is not about defining absolute truth, but about how individuals construct meaning in their lives. He described it as a psychology of the human quest, focusing on how people explore and interpret their world. Ayon nga kay Kelly, hindi lang reality ang umubog sa atin. Hindi lang basta ang mga nangyayari sa paligid natin ang nagdidikta kung paano tayo mag-isip o kumilos. Hindi rin perception lang. Hindi niya sinasabi na lahat ay nakabase lang sa paniniwala natin. Totoo ang mundo pero iba-iba lang ang paraan natin ng pag-intindi dito. A good example of this is food preferences. Some people hate sushi because their first experience with it was bad, while others love it because they associate with positive memories. The sushi itself does not change, but our construct of it does. Kelly introduced several key concepts to explain how personal constructs work, including how we organize our thoughts, make choices, and adapt to new experiences. These concepts help us to understand why people think and behave differently in similar situations. Now, let's explore the key ideas in detail. The first one, Kelly K concept, is the person as scientist. Kelly proposed that people act like scientists in daily life, forming hypotheses, testing ideas, and adjusting their beliefs based on experiences. Tulad nga ng mga scientist, tayong lahat ay may hypothesis o teorya sa mga bagay-bagay. Pinaniniwalaan natin ito, pero kapag may bagong experience, is pwede natin itong baguhin. Halimbawa, akala mo dati boring ang history, pero dahil nagkaroon ka ng teacher na magaling magturo, na-realize mong interesting pala ito. And the second one, scientists as person. Just as individuals interpret reality differently, scientists also construct theories that are open to interpretation. So, hindi lang tayo ang gumagawa ng constructs, pati ang mga scientists. Ayon kay Kelly, kahit ang mga scientific theories ay hindi permanent. So, lagi itong nagbabago depende sa bagong information. So, halimbawa, dati akala ng mga scientists ang mundo ay flat. Pero dahil sa bagong discoveries, napalitan ito ng paniniwalang bilog pala ito. And the third Kelly concept, constructive alternativism. So Kelly emphasized that reality exists but individuals can interpret it in multiple ways. He called this constructive alternativism, the idea that our understanding of the world is not fixed and can always be restructured. This is one of Kelly's most important ideas. Reality is not fixed. We can interpret it in multiple ways. For example, let's say you fail a test. One way to interpret it is I am bad at this subject, but another way could be I need to study differently next time. So Kelly believed that people are not just passive victims of circumstances. Instead, we have the power to reframe our experiences and choose new perspectives. And now let's proceed to personal construct. Kelly believed that people create their own interpretations of reality, shaping their behavior based on how they anticipate the future. Kelly fundamentals postulate state that behavior is directed by how people foresee future events, rather than being solely influenced by past experiences. Our personal constructs are mental filters we use to understand the world. Some people are flexible and change Our personal constructs are mental filters we use to understand the world. Some people are flexible and change their views when new information comes in, while others are rigid and refuse to adjust even when evidence suggests they should. So, ito ang ginagamit natin para maunawaan ang mundo. Ito ang mga pananaw o mental frameworks na nag-iiba depende sa ating karanasan. Let's say the flexible constructs, nagbabago kapag may bagong experience. When the fixed constructs naman is hindi madaling mabago kahit may bagong information. For example, if someone believes that all politicians are corrupt, they might ignore examples of honest politicians because their construct is too rigid. But someone with a more flexible construct might be open to changing their view when presented with new facts. So that's the personal construct of George Kelly's. So let's proceed to the basic postulate. A person's processes are physiologically channelized by the ways in which the person anticipates events. Basically, sinasabi ng postulate na ito is ang mga tao daw ay wired na future teller. We are wired to explain, interpret our present institutions so that we can predict what will happen next in our life. Kasi kapag na-predict natin ang mangyayari sa susunod na buhay natin in the future, as mas mataas yung chance ang survival natin. George Kelly's 11 corollaries explain how people create and use personal constructs to understand the world. These ideas shows how we recognize patterns, organize thoughts, and make choices and adapt to new experiences. Simply put, they help us understand why people see things differently and how our beliefs change over time. Now, let's go through each corollary and see how they shape our thinking. First, we have the similarities among events, which is the construction corollary. People recognize similarities in requiring events, allowing them to anticipate the future based on past experiences. Ginagamit natin ang past experiences para mahulaan ang future. Halimbawa, kung lagi kang tinatawag ng teacher kapag hindi ka nagbabasa, aasahan mong mangyayari ulit ito. The second one is the differences among people, individuality corollary. Individuals interpret events differently based on their unique experiences, leading to diverse perspective. So, walang dalawang tao ang may eksaktong parehong pananaw. Halimbawa nito, ang isang kanta para sa iyo ay masaya, pero para sa iba is malungkot. And the third one is the organization corollary. People arrange their construct in an orderly hierarchy, helping them predict and navigate future events more effectively. May mga pananaw tayong mas mahalaga kaysa sa iba. Halimbawa nito is mas mahalaga sa iyong honestly kaysa sa pagiging mabait. Kaya mas gusto mong malaman ng totoo kahit na masakit na. As the number four, dichotomy corollary or dichotomy of constructs, constructs are formed in an either or manner, meaning people categorize experiences by constructing them with opposites. Meaning, as naiintindihan natin ang isang bagay dahil sa kabaliktaran nito. Halimbawa is, alam mong matangkad ang isang tao kasi may ibang mababa. We have the choice corollary, choice between dichotomies. So individuals make choices between alternatives based on which option they believe will enhance their future understanding. So this means naman is pinipili natin ang pananaw na tingin natin ay beneficial. Halimbawa nito is mas pipiliin mong isipin na kaya ko to kaysa hindi ako magaling. And the next one is the range corollary or range of convenience. Personal constructs apply only to a limited range of situations. They are not relevant to all aspects of life. Hindi lahat ng beliefs natin ay applicable sa lahat ng bagay. Halimbawa is, Pwede kang competitive sa sports pero hindi sa academics. We also have the experience corollary or experiences and learning. People modify their construct based on new experiences, constantly refining their understanding of the world, which means is natuto tayo sa experience. Halimbawa, takot ka sa aso, pero nang alagaan mo to, is natutunan mong mabait pala sila. As for the number 8, modulation corollary, the flexibility of a person's construct determines how easily they can incorporate new experiences into their belief system. So, the more flexible our constructs is, the easier it is for us to change. For example, a student open to feedback improves faster than one who resists criticism. The next one is the fragmentation corollary. People can hold contradictory beliefs or behaviors in different contexts, showing that construct systems are not always consistent. We can hold contradictory beliefs in different situations, but minsan hindi tayo consistent. For an example, ikaw ay strict sa bahay pero kapag kasama ang barkada, is chill lang. And for the number 10, commonality corollary or similarities among people. People with similar ways of interpreting experiences tend to think and behave in psychologically similar ways, even if their background differ. Means people with similar experiences develop similar construct. Parang pareho ng pananaw, pareho ng ugali. For example, two people raised in strict household might have similar views on discipline. And for the last corollary, sociality corollary, all these social processes, effective social interactions depend on understanding how others construe the world, allowing individuals to play different social roles. Means, mas naiintindihan natin ang tao kung alam natin ang pananaw nila. Halimbawa, mas madali kang makipagkaibigan kapag naiintindihan mo ang pananaw ng iba. Kelly's 11 corollaries show that our understanding of the world is shaped by our unique experiences and perspectives. They explain why people interpret situations differently, how we organize our thoughts, and how we adjust to new experiences. By recognizing these corollaries, we can become more aware of our thinking patterns and be more open to different viewpoints. In the end, Kelly's theory reminds us that our perceptions are not fixed and we have the power to change and grow. That's all for my report. Thank you for listening.